Welcome to the Module 3, Knowing Standards. This module is dedicated to introduction to the system of standards in fruits and vegetable sector. General classification of the standards. We can say that we know two groups of different standards. The first one, they are the public standards, and they are prepared by measurements. They are standards for products. They describe the design of the products, and they are mandatory. So we can say that these standards, they are public, and they are adopted by governments, and international organizations are dealing with the preparation of these standards. Then we have another group. These are the standards, they are called private or private schemes. And these standards, they are set up by definition. These are standards not for products, but for processes, which is a big difference. And they describe the standards on performance. These private standards, they are voluntary. So until they are not adopted, like companies are signing agreement to use private standards, up to that time, they are voluntary. But we will speak about public standards now. So this is the structure of the agricultural marketing standards. They have different parts. The first one is definition of produce. Then you have different provisions concerning quality, something like minimum requirements, maturity requirements, and then classification. The section speaking about sizing, precise the way how the fruits are sized. Very important is part of tolerances. Then we need to have a kind of presentation for each class. And at the end, there are the requirements for marking, or so-called labeling. Let's go to all these points. First one is definition of produce. For be clear what about standards are, we need to have a botanical reference, what means that we have national, in national language, the name of the product. And in the same time, we use Latin name, which is worldwide recognized. You can see these examples. So when we have standard, which is applied for cherries, then we have Latin name, Prunus avium, and Prunus cerasus. In definition, we define also that these standards are applied only for the stage when it is supplied to the consumers in the fresh stage. All what is about the industrial processing is excluded from this standard, so they are not applied for fruit which is intended for further processing, like for jams, marmalades, and different kind of products. Provisions concerning quality. What is important, public standards, they are defining only minimum quality requirements of products. That means that we have only the minimum parameters, but in private standards, you can define something more additional to this minimum quality requirements. Quality standards and these provisions, which are speaking about the quality, they can be applied at various stages of the supply chain. So that means that they are applied after preparation, packaging. They can be applied on the domestic markets as well. So that means in wholesale or retail. And of course, these standards, they are applied also at export and import stages. Requirements. There is a list of minimum requirements, and they are described what does it mean. When we speak about the first one, which is intact, but that it can be used also the word whole. So that means that all damages or injuries, they are not allowed. So no sign of cuts or broken roots or bruising of the fruit. And we can say that these damages, they are results of the rough handling. This can be during the harvest or post-harvest operations. That's why we need to have a trained staff dealing with this harvest and post-harvest operations, just to be sure that intactness of the fruit would be kept. Sound. Product must be free from disease or rotting. That means that they are not allowed any deteriorations which lead to product perishable, lowering the quality. So we can't see in the package rotting or different kind of fungal diseases or other kind of deterioration, because this would lead to make the product unfit for consumption, for using this for human consumption. Of course, soundness means that the proper checks, they are required, because when we release this product to trade, there is already too late. So we need to have checked the temperature and humidity, because when we have higher than is required, then all this can destroy value, market value of the product. Practically free from pests. This is something what can be discussed from the different points of view. Generally, we say that practically free from damage caused by pest means only that we can allow only very small traces of damage, which are caused by different kind of pests. When we have manifestation of disease or insect, we can see that there are visible defects and they are not acceptable. Of course, this is again something what could decrease the commercial value of the product, and because of this, product is rejected. Practically free. I will mention this more times, that this is a live product, so this is not a can or something from metal, and you can assure that nothing is happening during the procedure of this trading chain. Practically free, we can't assure that the fruit is 100% free, but there is only occasional insect or very small presence of disease. This could be accepted, but there are special conditions for that. When we speak about damages caused by pests, usually there is flesh affected, but this leaves even if the pest is not anymore presented there. So we need to have a kind of assurance that all these damages caused by diseases or insects, they are in a very small limit. Appearance. As you can see, these two pictures, and you compare the freshness. So leaves on the first one, they are green and turgid. On the other one, they are already wilted. Freshness is conditioned directly by temperature and humidity during the storage procedure. When they are not good conditions during the harvest, this can influence directly the freshness. That means when we are harvesting during the windy weather or direct sunshine during the day, and there is very high temperature, this will lead to loss of freshness. Free from abnormal external moisture. This is something what we can see in the boxes, in the storage houses. And usually this is a free water inside the package, or there is a leakage of juice from another fruits. This is abnormal external moisture. But then we have something what is happening when we release boxes from the cold store, and there is a condensation on the top of the fruit. There are water drops. They can resist for short time, and then they are just disappear. So we don't count this as an abnormal external moisture. This is something what is natural. Free of foreign smell or taste. That means that there are different groups of products. They are very sensitive and they absorb the smell or taste of other products in the same storage house. So usually there is something like garlic or potatoes or carrots. So they can't be stored with apples because apples are very sensitive and they can take all this smell and taste of the uh, other products to their inside the fruit. The same you can see also when the storage is not proper and you have very pure conditions. This means that you have a small storage place and you are storing together with the fruits or vegetable different kind of chemicals or petrol, because they have also very strong odor. Maturity requirements, they are set up only for certain number of produce. Not for all of them is possible to set maturity requirements, and they are measurable. So this is the group of measurable parameters. This is some we can list them. This is like sugar content value. This is like setting the Brix level in the watermelons, peaches, and kiwis. So this is the same. So sugar content is measured by Brix. Then we have solidity. This is checked by penetrometer. Again, we have only a couple of products. They are in that you can measure the solidity. When we start with harvesting time, of course, we need to have exact measures. We need to have exact numbers or figures of these measurable parameters. That's why we need to take into account also if the product is climacteric or not climacteric. So that means if we harvest climacteric fruits too late, then during the storage, you can destroy whole production. They need to be harvested at the minimum stage of ripeness, because this process of the ripening is still ongoing. When we have non-climacteric fruits, they usually, when we harvest them too early, they will be never mature enough. So that's why this is very, very strict. You need to control this if the harvesting time is in the right time. So they must be harvested at a satisfactory stage of ripeness. You can see how sugar content is measured. This is the very simple tool. So this is refractometer, and you can see exactly the how is the sugar content in different fruits. This is not very so it's a very simple method, but you can use also a iodine test, but not for all products. The best or most used is for apples, and this is used because of setting up the right harvesting period. So you need to have right harvest maturity and ripeness. And according to this iodine test, the producers, they can decide when they start with harvesting. Classification, all of these standards, the public standards, they have defined 3 different quality classes. Everything what is beyond the class 2 is not available to sell. So this is not possible to sell these products on the market. Some products, they have defined exact parameters for class extra, but also there are products which they don't have class 1 or class 2. Oh, sorry. They have only class 1 or class 2 defined. For extra class, the most important is to know that extra class is only more or less 5% of the worldwide market. So usually this is the highest quality, and it is only very small amount of the products they can reach extra class quality. Product must be superior, so the quality must be uniform. Product must be uniform. They need to have all commercial types and characteristics. They must be uniform in shape, in color, development, and if they are sized, also in size. Normally, all of these extra class products, they are sized. But because we mentioned already that this is not a product which is prepared like canned fruits or frozen fruits, they can keep the quality for a long time. But fruits and vegetables is very perishable, and that's why we need to allow also in extra class some very slight defects. Usually these are the superficial defects, and the conditions of these defects are that they are not developing, so they can't affect the general appearance of the product. And of course, they need to be in that stage that quality is kept, and the presentation in the package is also on the high level of extra class. Different pictures of extra class presentation. There is a uniformity in the package. All fruits, they are the same color, the same shape, and the same size. Again, another example, but this is not in the package, so this is just to show you that exclusive quality like extra class, it looks like this. Class 1, most of the products sold on the market, they are in class 1. This is still good quality, so all the characteristic of the variety or commercial type must be kept as well. If you compare with the extra class, so in class 1 there are slight defects. This is more than very slight defects. So there are defects in shape, in color, and development allowed. But of course, the same conditions like in extra class, these slight defects, they can't influence the general appearance of the product. So quality and keeping quality must be kept. And again, it's the same like in extra class. Presentation in the package must be also kept on very high level. Class 2, class 2 is more relaxed. So in class 2 can be included everything that is not fit in extra and class 1. but class 2 product must satisfy the minimum requirements. There are different defects, defects in shape or color defects. A lot of defects they are allowed, but again, the product must retain essential characteristics in quality. That means that they are still marketable, but we can call this a reasonable quality. And it's still suitable for human consumption. You can see presentation of class 2. There are the differences in shape, differences in size. Then we go to another part of the standards, and we speak about sizing, tolerances, presentation, and marking. What does it mean, sizing? So, as we spoke about the uniformity in the package, sizing is because to assure that in package you have the same size as all fruits, they are in same size. These sizing requirements, they can be determined by 3 different systems. You are measuring or diameter of the fruit, or length of the fruits, or weight of the fruit. Sometimes you can have also combination of these. And sizing measurement is, of course, depending on the product. So you can't have a length for apples like parameter. For this is not possible. For each quality class, we have a minimum and maximum sizes determined, and there is the variation of the different sizes which can be put it in the one package, just to keep the uniformity in size. So this can be expressed also like a size range. So we use different size codes, like for citrus fruits, for peaches. There are different products, they use these size codes. And these express the scale of the sizes which are allowed in one package. When we quality classes already and we have the sizing requirements, it is very important to know that, again, when we speak about fruits and vegetables, this is a living product, so it's perishable product. And because of this, we are not able to keep 100% fruits to be without any problem. And that's why we have tolerances. They set certain margins, and they are allowed to be deviated from the defined quality, and define quality in each class or in size. That's why we have 2 different sets of tolerances. The first one is quality, and the second one speaks about size. For quality, there are different percentage of allowed problems in each class. For extra class, there is a tolerance of 5% by number or weight. It depends on product. And these 5% of the products, they are not satisfying extra class requirements. But of course, the rules are that if you have 5% of tolerance, meeting the requirements of class 1, which is just below, so below the extra, but you can't have in this 5% class 2 products. This is always the same, so they are allowed only in the case that there is like 0.5% of within the tolerance. For other classes, they will be other percentages. Oops, this is missing. For other classes, for class 1 and class 2, we have tolerance of 10%. And again, in 10% tolerance, you can see in class 1, you can see class 2 products. But for class 2, they need to fulfill the minimum requirements. But the rest if it's more than 10%, this is not allowed. And for size, we have this for all classes the same tolerances for sizing. For all of them, extra class 1 and class 2, we have 10% by number or weight. And these products, it is not required that they are conforming to the size parameters. Each product has definition separately because they have different sizing requirements. When we explain this on the example, so we take cherries. For cherries, we have defined size tolerances, exact number, exact diameter. So we have for extra class 17 millimeter, and for class 2 and 1, we have 15 millimeters of diameter. So this is the minimum size, not less than this, what is described. Presentation requires uniformity. So when we want to have nicely presented product, we need to assure that in each package we have the same content. That means that we require the uniformity in origin. Uniformity in origin means that all fruits in the same package must be from the same country or same region. Then we want to have uniformity in quality. That means that in one package you can have only defined same quality class, and the same we can apply for size. So the same size is again required. The packages are packed on the way that the visible part must be the same like what is inside the package. Presentation should be not misleading. That means that if we have on the upper layer some excellent fruits, the same must be inside. So this is not possible to have different quality classes mixed, and the products of the low quality or lower quality, they are just hidden in the lower layers. This is what we can't accept. Then when we use the packaging, so the packaging must protect the product on the very good way. That means we can't have package which could cause any external or internal damage to the products which is inside, because we need to protect. That's why we are using packaging. All materials which are used must be new and must be clean. And of course, we have a special requirement for all materials which are used for any kind of small stickers or direct labeling on the fruit. They must be non-toxic and must be suitable for contact with food. You can see different presentations. So the presentation in the box pallets, usually used in the wholesale or directly from producer to the wholesale. And on the right side, you can see whole retail market where the product is presented on a very nice way. Another example is for extra class. For extra class, as is packed here, you can see that they are divided fruits, so they are not touching each other, so they are very well protected. Class 1, this is a consumer package of cherry tomatoes. Again, product is properly packed, so you have no problems with the internal or external damage of the fruit. They are even protected against the consumers because they can't touch each fruit. Class 2 presentation is the last quality class what you can sell, so this can be traded. And you can see that there are broken roots and cracked carrots. Size is also not very uniform. There are different sizes inside one package. This package is an example of class 2, but it can't be better. Only if you grade again and resort this package, you can get a better quality class. Concerning marking, or we can call this labeling as well, there are special requirements what must be labeled on each package. And these informations, they need to be on the one side of packages. When you have, for instance, a pallet with different packages, it must be assured that these labeling requirements, labeling informations on the label, they are on the one side. The first one is identification or packer or dispatcher. This we can assure by showing the name and address of the producer or packer or dispatcher. Producer can be also packer, so we can use this for the same. Nature of product we use only when we have closed packages and we don't see what is inside. So then it's necessary to mark this, for example, when we have table grapes and they are in the closed package, but on this way can be presented also not only table grapes, but we can have also sweet peppers, we can have peaches, oranges, all of them, they are with closed package. So this is usually you have different kind of packages, but we need this nature of products only if we don't see what is inside the package. Concerning origin, we use name of the country, and if it's necessary or we know this exactly, there can be also name of the region, but this must be labeled together with the country of origin. Concerning commercial specifications, this is something what shows us quality. Then we have quality classes and size. For extra class and class 1, it's necessary to have class and size because usually these products are sized. Then we have a kind of not obligatory set of information, and this is something what can be, but if it's labeled, we need to keep this. If we label recommendations on storage temperature or how to use, this is voluntary. But when it's already on the label, of course, we need to keep this information as at the all marketing stages. And the last part of the marking requirements says about the official control mark, which is the official logo of the National Inspection Service, who is responsible for this control. But usually there is only very rare to see, but usually this kind of information, the stamp of the inspection service, is usually not on the label. But if we have this and we want to label this information, then it can be only for inspection services, which inspection services are responsible for giving this stamp, or they can give a special permission to packer. If it's used, this official control mark, then official inspection services, they are responsible for setting conditions for such permission to the packer. You can see marking of each package. This is in the pack station. So all boxes, they are labeled on the same side. They are labeled on the way that this sticker is good attached to the package. And we need to use all this information what is required in part on marking. If we have wrong or non-correct marking, that means that product can be rejected. So this is very important. This is incorrect marking example. So you can see that there is a missing identification. We don't have name and address of producer. Everything else is there: country of origin, name of the product, even the net weight, quality class, but there is no name and address of producer. So that's why we can't assure a traceability. If would be any problem, then we have no idea who is responsible for this product. So once again, public standards, they have different sections speaking about the conditions. So this is what we spoke today about. Thank you for your attention. And if you need, contact us.